Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. This is our scouting report that we do each week on each opponent that the Pittsburgh Steelers are facing. This week, we are taking on the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the quote unquote rival Cleveland Browns. We'll break all of that down for you and more. Just as a reminder, yes, my face is still fat. Yes, I'm still going through it with this tooth and this infection. But you know what? I'm still here. So I still got to bring it to you guys. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me, still showing up. If anybody's here for the first time, I promise you I don't sound like this all the time. Go back and look at some other videos. But yeah, I'm still going through it. But the Steelers are still playing football, so we're going to still keep bringing you these videos. So I appreciate you guys showing up, man. Let's jump into this. First things first. You know, the Cleveland Browns, we're playing them. This is going to be a tougher game than what we anticipate. The Browns aren't any good. Let's just start there. They're not. Um, but it's a divisional rival. The Browns look at us as their big rival. This is their Super Bowl. Playing in Cleveland, yeah, this is their Super Bowl. They're lying if they tell you that it's not. Um, one of the reasons is they've never been to a Super Bowl. So that's one thing. But yeah, so the game's in Cleveland. The Steelers are favored by 4. That should tell you everything you need to know. Steelers, much better team, favored by 4 on the road. So this game is going to be closer than you anticipate. Over under on this is only 36.5. Low scoring. I think that's probably about right. Weather, cold, windy, rainy, in the mid to low 30s at kickoff. It's going to be nasty. Just a nasty setting. Moving on. Look, what do they have going on right now? As far as offensive weapons, Jameis Winston, he's throwing for a lot of yards. I mean, what did he throw for, like 396 yards or 95 yards, whatever it was last week? But it only accounted for 14 points. Ton of just empty calorie, um, just no context kind of yards. The Saints were blowing them out. They kept them in a two deep shell, kept everything in front of them. And yeah, it got a lot of yards, but no points. So, but he's back there. And believe it or not, Jameis Winston can be dangerous. And he's been a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson ever was this year. So, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb coming back off of that awful injury that happened against us last year. He's not up to speed, although they're trying to force feed him the football. It's not really accounting for anything right now. He's averaging like 3.1 yards a carry, but that doesn't mean he can't do anything against the Steelers because historically he's been pretty good against the Steelers. So keep that in mind. Jerry Jeudy is our best receiver. Struggled the early part of his career in Denver. Has come on a little bit as of late, but they've been throwing the football a lot here in the last few weeks, and Jerry Jeudy's been a big recipient of that. Moving on. Look, defensively, Myles Garrett, man, he is what he is. I know a lot of people out there don't believe he should have won Defensive Player of the Year over TJ Watt. I don't think he should have won it over TJ Watt. But just because I believe that and a lot of people believe that, let's not kid ourselves into thinking that Myles Garrett isn't an outstanding football player because he is. He just is. He's that guy. Is he as good as TJ Watt? I don't think so. Not in my opinion. But again, let's not kid ourselves in thinking that he's not a good football player um, just because we got the best defensive player in the world that plays for our team. Myles Garrett's in the conversation. There's no question about that. Denzel Ward not having as great a year this year, but still a very, very good cornerback. And then Grant Delpit, good safety, second leading tackler on their football. Actually, I think he's the leading tackler on their football team. I'm not sure that you want your safety to be that, but strong safety, it's okay. And that's what he is. He's a physical football player. None of their draft picks, look, Cleveland got screwed, or they screwed themselves, I should say, with that Deshaun Watson trade. Just screwed themselves. in anything that they're trying to do with the draft. None of their draft picks are working out to be worth really anything this season. Maybe they will be down the road, but until they start drafting better, because they can't get any free agents, they're not going to sign people. It's just, what do you got? And this is what Cleveland has right now. It's just an absolute disaster. As far as injuries are concerned, Alex Highsmith, he's still out with injury. We know he's going to be out probably another 2 weeks, I would guess, and that's okay. That's okay. We want him back. Don't get me wrong, but we've got Preston Smith, Nick Herbig came back, had a good game, so we're there. Dwight Jones for Cleveland broke his ankle last week, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. That hurts because he had taken over the starting left tackle job. um, I don't know how well he was playing, but it was well enough for them to get rid of Willis, Jedrick Willis, and just say, we're going to go with Dwight Jones here and put Willis on the bench. Now they got to put Willis back in. Who knows what that's going to look like for Cleveland this week? As far as the matchups are concerned, look, strength versus strength. The Steelers' scoring defense is second in the league. They're only allowing 16 points a game. The Browns, their total offense averaging 378 yards a game. Like I mentioned, some of that is empty stats, but they are averaging a lot of yards over the last game. So I would say the strength again, the Steelers, what they do on defense against the Browns offense, can they slow it down? Um, I think it's a big matchup. I know a lot of Steeler fans are going to say, "Come on, Big B, what are you talking about?" It's a matchup. Trust me, it will be a matchup. They're going to challenge some of the stuff that the Steelers do well. As far as a strength, the Steelers' strength versus a Browns' weakness, this one's pretty easy. Steelers scoring defense versus the Browns scoring offense. Steelers is second in the league. The Browns is 31st. So while the Browns are getting a ton of yards, it's not equating to very many points. Again, the Steelers only allowing 16 points a game. The Browns only score 16 points a game. So, and then when it comes down to a weakness versus a strength, the Steelers' weakness versus a strength. Look, the passing offense of the Steelers took a little step back last week. It's 28th in the league. Now, the Browns' defense, as far as pass defense, is 16th, middle of the pack. 211 yards a game. That's actually better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. When you think about it, I mean, facts are facts. But you got to put it in a little bit of context too. The pass rush that Cleveland can generate, that helps with what they're trying to do. So, and we saw the Steelers struggle last week as far as pass protection, especially our tackles. And Myles Garrett's going to be there. So it's going to be a battle, man. We're going to have to figure out a way to be able to stop them. As far as the overall matchups here between the two football teams, look, I mentioned the game is in Cleveland. This is Cleveland's Super Bowl. That means a lot to them. This game means a lot to them. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean anything to Pittsburgh, because it does. It does. But I'm just saying it means more to Cleveland, especially with the game being in Cleveland. Mike Tomlin is much better head coach. Let's not kid ourselves. Kevin Stefanski, I mean, he may not even have a job in a couple of weeks. Who knows? But Mike Tomlin clearly is the better head coach. The Steelers lead this series 81-63. Look, the Browns dominated this early on, and it goes back, before the merger, or not before the merger, before technically the expansion. This matchup, and as far as this rivalry goes, but after Cleveland got their new football team, which whether you think that team should have left or not, it doesn't really matter. It did. The Steelers have dominated this series. They've basically won 45 or 46 out of the 55 games since Cleveland got their new team. So Steelers have just owned Cleveland as far as that is concerned. The Steelers have a better roster. Now, the Browns don't have a bad one. They really don't. Their roster isn't horrible at all. But the Steelers definitely do have a better roster than what the Cleveland Browns put back out there. And when you're talking about the roster, I think we can talk about a little bit as far as is has Cleveland given up? Like, have they quit on the season? I think, like I mentioned before, they're going to look at this game as being their Super Bowl and deciding, okay, what do we want to do with the rest of our season? This is the game that's going to kind of decide it. They're probably gearing all this up to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers definitely have a better roster. The matchups, when you break it down, one on one, the Steelers have a better matchups. They just do. They're a better football team, so the matchups are going to favor them. All that being said, I think the game is going to be close. I really, really do. Look, historically, this has been a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers, we would come off an emotional win and we would lose. What do we call it? A Tomlin special, where they play well, they play well, they play well, and then they lose a game. We saw that against Dallas. Tomlin special. No reason for the Steelers to lose that football game. But we've also seen the Steelers this year win a couple of those games where we didn't necessarily play our best. Washington would be one of those. Steelers didn't play their best football, but they were able to go on the road and win. Cleveland is going to give the Steelers all the fight, um, all the problems. I mean, it's going to be a hostile crowd, a rowdy crowd, and they're going to give the Steelers everything they want. What I would say, Pittsburgh's got to step up early and stand up to the challenge early on that is going to be brought by the Cleveland Browns, because they're going to punch us in the mouth. It's just a matter of, okay, they came out firing, they punched us hard in the mouth. Now how do we get out of this thing? And I think the Steelers will respond. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. The wind and the rain, or basically just the weather in general, isn't going to allow for that. The rivalry in itself, usually these games in Cleveland, not high scoring. And so just the way that this game is going to leak out to be, I think it's going to be a really, really tough physical football game. But I think the Steelers win 20-17. I don't even think it'll be a Boz kick late. I think we already have that done. I think the Steelers are going to get a stop late against Cleveland. But yeah, I think the Steelers can win this. Not can, will win this one 20-17 on the road. Get a mini bye, get refocused, and get going on into the next half, because then we got the Bengals coming up next. So I look forward to this football game. More importantly, I look forward to getting this fixed, people. Oh my God, it is killing me. And I've had enough. I've literally had enough. I got to get back. I can't be as rowdy and crazy as I always get with you guys, man. So bear with me. Don't leave us. Don't say, oh, this guy's a hack, he can't talk. Don't do any of that, man. Hang in there with us. I promise I will get this fixed and we will get this thing back rolling again. Appreciate all the love and support that you guys have given me and all the well wishes. We'll be back. I like this one for the Steelers. Let's get this one done. Love you guys, and aloha.